Hey guys, it's Alex, and I'm here with an unhaul. It's been a minute since I did an unhaul, and I was originally gathering these books because there was a book that I specifically needed to buy, and I was hoping to find it at my used bookstore and sort of exchange it for these, but then my lovely friend actually sent it to me, so this is just a normal unhaul that's not out of desperation. I have 10 books today that I'm going to show you guys that I'm getting rid of for a variety of reasons, some because I didn't like them, some because I don't care, and some because I have duplicates. The first two books I'm getting rid of are a duology, and that is A Study in Charlotte and The Last of August by Brittany Cavallaro. I read these in January and I should have a review coming soon, but I gave both of them 2 stars. I just didn't particularly like them, so as soon as I film that review, these are going. Next I have The Tempest by William Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare, I love him to death, but I have 2 complete anthologies of all of his works, including plays, sonnets, and literally anything he's ever done. They're like 5 inches thick, both of them, and I have 2, which means I have 2 of everything he's ever done. Plus, I tend to read Shakespeare a lot on my phone, so there's really no need for me to own an individual play when I have access to them elsewhere, and I'm honestly never going to read this, even though The Tempest is probably one of my favorites. But it's unnecessary for me to own this, and it's honestly just taking up space on my shelf. And I have Toby Wheeler 8th Grade Benchwarmer by Thatcher Heldring. My parents gave me this when I didn't make the soccer team in middle school, which was kind of rude, I feel, and I was offended, and I read this book and I don't remember anything about it, but I just feel like it doesn't need to be on my shelf because every time I look at it, I just feel bitter. Next is kind of a shameful book to be on this unhaul, and that is The Boy in the Striped Pajamas by John Boyne. This was on my last unhaul as well, and I never unhauled it. I was keeping it around longer than the other books just to use it in my wrap-up because I really hate editing the book in. If there's any way to get around it, I will. So I kept it until then, and then I just never got around to donating it anywhere. So I still have it, but it's definitely leaving this time because there's no reason for me to continue owning this when I didn't like it. Also, In a Dark Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. I read this back in November or December, I think. I don't remember. I gave it 3 stars. It was very mediocre, but I really don't need to have it on my shelf. This is one of those books I was just keeping just for the sake of keeping. And when I was in desperate need of a book, I was willing to get rid of this one. And now that I'm no longer in desperate need of that book, I'm kind of okay still getting rid of it. I have her other book that I haven't read yet, but it was just mediocre, and I feel like there's really no reason for me to keep a mediocre book. All the Missing Girls by Meghan Miranda. I didn't dislike this book. I think I gave it 2 stars, but I gave it 2 stars because I couldn't get into it. It's told in reverse order. It starts at like day 10, and that's a chapter from the beginning of day 10 to the end of day 10. And then the next chapter is day 9, and it's the beginning of day 9 to the end of day 9. And that non-linear storytelling really screwed with my head. I could not get into this book. I had no idea what order the events actually happened in, because my brain doesn't work that way. I really can't handle non-linear stories very well. I really wanted to like this because it sounded exactly like something I would like, and I did kind of like the story, which is why I'm holding on to it, but I just need to get rid of it because I know I'm never going to read it again, and I didn't like it when I read it for the non-linear storytelling, but I do feel like someone else is probably going to really enjoy having this book. Next is Inexcusable by Chris Lynch. This is a YA contemporary that's pretty old, I think. I mean, not pretty old, but like in terms of booktube, I think it's like 15 years old maybe. I remember reading this when I was fairly young, either in middle school or high school. It's about a rapist, and it's the story of a rape told from the point of view of the rapist who sort of like doesn't understand what he did wrong, and it's about him and his mindset and what he's thinking and sort of his realization as he gets towards the end. And I just remember really not liking it, and I've been sort of hesitant to get rid of it because I did read it when I was so young, and I don't actually know if the rape and the way it was portrayed and the rapist and his point of view was well done or not, because I remember disliking it, but at 14 I don't think I'd have really understood if it was portrayed very well, and it's the kind of thing I'd be curious to see what I would think now, but honestly, I have no desire to reread this, so it might as well just go away and I'll probably forget about it. The Thief by Meghan Whalen Turner. I read this back in November. It was a buddy read with cozy reader Kelly, and I gave it 3 stars, and I was fairly excited to continue on with the series, but my library doesn't have them, so I don't care enough about the series to buy the books or procure them elsewhere or ask someone to buy them for me as a gift or something for my birthday later on, because there are other books I would rather own, and I feel like there will always be other books I would rather own, and it's just not worth it to keep this book, because alone this book was like a 2-star. As a series, and as it was going to continue on, I gave it 3 stars for like excitement for the rest of the series, and 2 stars for this, so it's going away. And finally, the last book on this list is A Clash of Kings, I forgot the title, by George R.R. Martin. This is the 2nd book or something in the Game of Thrones series, a Song of Ice and Fire series, I don't know, I don't care. I own them all. This is a duplicate. I'm not getting rid of this because I'm not going to read it. I'm getting rid of this because this is a floppy paperback. This is giant. This goes like that. I hate that. I know everyone else on BookTube loves it, but it's so annoying. So I'm collecting the mass market paperbacks of these, and I have the mass market paperbacks for all of them except for A Dance with Dragons, which I have a hardback of. So I'm kind of okay with that, and I'm kind of just like waiting to see until I find it in a thrift store for $1, because I figure I will eventually. That's where I found all the other ones. But I was never going to read this. It's just, how do you hold that? Someone explain to me why you like this and how you hold it, because like, that's not realistic to me. When I hold a book, I hold it like this in front of me and it just goes flop, and I don't like when it flops on me. Editing Alex here. I wanted to add one more book that I'm going to unhaul just because I do sort of keep my books on my shelf until I unhaul them, so I didn't want to keep this one forever since I hadn't even posted that unhaul yet, but that is The Realms of the Gods by Tamora Pierce. I don't like this cover. This cover does not spark joy, and I just hauled the cover of the book that matches the rest of my set, so this one is also going, and hopefully someone else will find this and it will spark joy for them, because it's a really wonderful, lovely book. It just doesn't match mine, and I found one that does, and sparks a lot more joy. I'd say talk me out of any of these, but honestly I'm unhauling them anyway, and there's a solid chance I will have unhauled them before I post this video, so good luck with that. This is kind of a smaller unhaul than I usually do, because I usually wait longer, but I just had this stack sitting there and figured, why not? I might as well get rid of them, and then I can go shopping and buy books that I actually want to own. Because that's sort of how I look at my unhauls. If I unhaul a bunch of books, I feel like I can go and specifically look for 1 or 2 things that I actually really want to have on my shelves. And that's a pretty healthy way to go about it, I think, without acquiring too many new books. So I like doing unhauls. I know they don't really have a purpose, but they make me happy, so I filmed them. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again soon.